good afternoon, or evening, or night, or morning. I don't know the time zones. Welcome to a new podcast. My name is Ian Sideboth. Most people know me as Tacho. And today I have the pleasure to talk with Jules Vino Corpus, better known as Lacrimosa. As one of the best representatives of the Filipino scene in Southeast Asia, going back since Smash 4, Lacrimosa has been a force to be reckoned with within it, as he is currently considered as one of the best players internationally and widely considered as one of the best warrior mains in the world. It is always so interesting how a scene that far from the globe can make such an impact in the worldwide scene, isn't it? Lacrimosa, how are you?
Well, I'm doing just fine. Right now it's 10 p.m. in the Philippines, so it's at the break of night,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still doing fine.
Awesome. Wait, you said 10 p.m.?
Yeah, it's 10 p.m. in the Philippines.
Oh, I think I messed up the uh, the mm, the announcement on Twitter yesterday. Oh, technically today.
Oh,
Now that I think
oh
about
yeah,
it.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. So I'm glad you're doing fine. Do you want to start with the interview?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So I want to start the interview knowing a little bit more about your past with the game. So how long have you been playing the franchise casually, and how do you eventually enter and find out about the competitive scene?
Well, funnily enough, I've been playing ever since I could remember. Well, at the age of 3 years old, I remember my brother requesting to buy Super Smash Brothers Brawl. And yeah, I've been playing ever since that time. I played different characters, and obviously I played so casually. I was 3 years old,
Mm-hmm.
but I played all the way since at that point. And I never really knew about the competitive scene until like, let's say 2012, and I knew a few of the Melee goats, the five gods of Melee, and all of that. But I never really got interested in the competitive scene until I saw a few years later a few combo videos for Smash 4, and I had the feeling that of like excitement because I didn't know that firstly uh the game that I was playing could be played to such a caliber, and second of all, back then when obviously when you play casually you only get to spam moves, like let's say I played Luigi back then. I try spamming up B and hitting the sweet spot every time. I thought that was the main goal of the game, to hit these strong moves. You
Mm.
get what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, I saw the combo videos and I was like impressed by someone spamming up tilt with Mario in Smash 4. Because every like if you know competitive Smash 4, that's guaranteed 40% from zero. And I was like, wow, I can't believe this is guaranteed. So I went to the training room and started practicing a bunch of combos, and from there I got introduced to like the more competitive side of uh Smash Bros.
Mm. And how do you find out about the Filipino scene?
Okay, so this was a funny story because it wasn't me who stumbled upon it. In fact, it was my cousin, Errol the Barrel.
Mm.
I had gone to like a few tournaments beforehand, but this is only in school, so I didn't really know the greater Smash scene
Mm-hmm.
at that point. I went to a few school tournaments. I used a bunch of characters. I used Luigi, I used Diddy Kong and Villager, but I never really did so well since I didn't have consistent practice. The only thing I did was play for glory and maybe occasionally play with a friend who knows how to play
Yeah.
the, competitively. But yeah, so one day in 2018, my cousin from America decided to start living here in the Philippines. That's Arrow, and he is more in touch with different gaming communities than me. I never really knew how to like find them. I kind of just stuck to my own circles in school. So I didn't really go out there searching for one. I just kept on playing online because I thought that was really the best way for me to enjoy it. Granted, I was curious of whatever scene there was around me. I just didn't know how to start. So Arrow was scrolling through Facebook and he saw a poster for this tournament in Smash 4. I forgot which tourney it was, but this was back in 2018, around June. Around June. Someone might be able to find that. But yeah, this was my first tournament ever. It had like around 40 people. It was much bigger than any of my school tournaments. It was a lot more competitive. There's a really big projector, a lot of uh, rows filled with setups, different setups of different games, more like mostly Smash 4.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was the story of how I got my ass whooped and I got O2'd. I I ran into not okay, funnily enough, before the interview started, you mentioned Mystic Mall, right? He was my first opponent.
Yikes.
I I do remember that, but the funny part about that was I had a bit of hope. He went Falco game one,
Mm-hmm.
and I won with Mario, and I was like, oh, this is pretty fine. And then he exclaimed, "Oh shit!" And then he swapped the Bayonetta, and I'm like, you can't be serious. I got killed at 40% by a Bayo combo at game two, and in game three it was close. But I died to like a raw F smash on the Town and City platform. So yeah, my first set was like okay, and then the second set I didn't know how to hit the Sheik. Like there
Ugh.
was a Sheik player in Smash 4. I hate the Sheik, and yeah, I lost really bad. Got O2, but I had a lot of spirit after that, so I continued playing in consecutive tournaments until Smash 4. Uh, the lifespan of Smash 4 ended. Yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Hi to the people watching. Red X, Arrows, and Sapphire with 1P.
Shout
Um,
out to all of them.
so it is interesting that your first opponent was one of the first people I interviewed in this in my channel from the Southeast Asian community. I think it was the first. No, it was the second because I interviewed Sifel back in 2020. So never mind. Um, so where does the tag Lacrimosa comes from? And am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah, you are pronouncing it correctly. Well, the tag Lacrimosa. Bit of a fun fact before I delve into this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Before Lacrimosa, I had like three other tags.
Okay.
Um, all of them have different origin, but I'm pretty sure this time I'm sticking with this tag. So Lacrimosa comes from a game that I play called Demo. It's a rhythm game, and one of the lyrics of one of the songs included that specific word, and I'm like, huh, what does this mean? So I looked it up, and it just meant weeping. And my edgy 14, 15-year-old self thought that was really cool. So I kind of just stuck it in there because it stuck right into my mind. And that game is one of my favorite games. Play Demo. Shout out to that game. And yeah, I just stuck with that ever since, let's say, 2022, right? Uh, is it fine if I introduce my other tags if
Yeah,
people get curious?
it is fine. I was actually gonna ask about it.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So my first tag ever in Smash 4, I was thinking, I'm like, man, I don't know what to put. And the funny part about that is I was like, okay, how about I literally make that my tag? IDK. And then my friends were like, are you stupid? But I actually stuck with that tag from like 2018 all the way until the start of pandemic. So that was actually pretty long lifespan. Second one was really short-lived, and I never really used it in tournament. The Spectre, and that one was just because I ran out of ideas, and my friend just shot one out into the dark. But yeah, no, I was like, nah, I don't want that. And my third one, which is probably more recognizable than the other two, was Psyche, Psyche,
Mm.
which didn't really have any like heavy meaning to it. I was just like, okay, what's my favorite type in Pokemon? Psychic type. All right, let's make something out of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, that's it. Those are like my four tags used throughout the time I've played competitively, but I'm really sticking with Lacrimosa.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like Ramosa, like Redex said, it's a song from Magnolia by
Correct.
M2U. Yeah.
Yeah, of
Yeah. So
course he would know.
Um, so out of all the characters in the game, why did you stuck with Diddy Kong in Smash 4?
Why Diddy Kong? Well, honestly, there are a few reasons for that. Out of everyone that I played Mario, Luigi, Wario, Diddy is what like stuck on eventually because in Brawl I actually played a few characters as well. The characters, all of them I mentioned, I played in Brawl,
Mhm.
and uh, I thought I'd play Luigi in Smash 4, but when I played Diddy Kong, things felt fine. They felt really nice because
Mhm.
I liked how Banana worked. I like how big his down tilt was. I like spamming that back then in Smash 4. And I think his kit flows in really nicely in my mind. And I would have played someone else, namely Wario, if he was better. Diddy Kong was coincidentally like a broken character.
Yeah. Wait, so you would have played Wario in Smash 4 if he was a
Yeah.
quote unquote better character, even though Gluttony was making waves in with Wario
Yeah.
Europe.
You know, the thing is, I was not so I didn't watch tournaments as frequently as I do now.
Mm.
Because like back then I only really knew like the big names in top 50. Gluto, like if I remember correctly, was like right outside there.
Yeah,
So
it
I
was.
really didn't know what he was doing as the Wario player. On top
Mhm.
of that, he didn't travel as much. Mm,
Yeah, yeah. Europe was in Smash Four is still. I mean, back in Smash Four, Europe was still a scene that not so many people recognized as now, where it has majors and stuff. And back then, Mr. R was possibly the only European representatives of the scene back then. Even though Mr. R is technically not from Europe, but nevertheless.
right. Yeah. Mm,
Um, And how do you feel about your trajectory during Smash Four?
my trajectory. Well, honestly, it was like on an upward slope. Every tournament I went to, I kept on doing better. But
Mhm.
the thing in Smash 4 was I feel like I go like a bit more specific with like
Mhm.
gameplay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I felt like in Smash 4, what got better was my execution and
Mhm.
like what I'm able to do in game because I actually got more consistent practice from playing people in tournaments. My friends were more pumped to play because they saw me compete, which was pretty nice to hear. From my first tournament, I went 0-2. My second, I went 4-2. My third, I went like 3-2, and my last, I went 3-2 again. So it was pretty much it was just getting better. But I was stuck in that threshold of 4-2, 3-2
Mhm.
in Smash 4. I didn't really know how to break it since the way I played the game wasn't like the most thought out. I kind of just stuck to my game plan and hoped it worked. It like remembering back then how I played, it was just throw the banana, press down tilt, pressure shield, grab if they shield for too long, which honestly could work. Like if you're getting too antsy against Diddy Kong, I could see it, but the me back then didn't really know how to break past that.
Mhm.
So yeah, I didn't really land inside the threshold of like top 15 in Smash 4, but I was a rising player
Yeah,
at that time.
I get it. Do you like playing Smash Four?
Well, um, funnily enough, I didn't really. Okay, this is just like a really funny coincidence. But like back then, yeah, I really liked playing the game. I always played it. I didn't really have any complaints
Mhm.
because, funnily enough, not many people play Bayonetta in our country. It is just Mystic Ball and one other person,
Mhm.
and so we didn't really get to see the true demons of Smash 4. A lot of people played Cloud, but not many of them reached like the top 15.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as bad. There are actually a lot more Diddy Kongs than both of those characters, including myself. So I enjoyed Smash 4. Funnily enough, now, um, I didn't really do it to prepare for this interview, but funnily enough, I was. replaying Smash 4 and some of the older Smash games like Brawl and Melee.
Mhm.
And I gotta say, now that I actually know how to like get around these games better, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun for me. Granted, um, I didn't. I don't have to like when I play with my friends. They don't play the best characters. Like Eros, when he played Smash 4 with me, he played Marth. Marth is like good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not the reason why people stopped playing Smash 4. So we actually had a bit of fun. It was a bit slow, but we appreciated the movement tech in Smash 4, like perfect pivoting. I
Mhm.
miss that. And footstool combos, which is awesome. I like true footstool combos. Since you could jab block out of a footstool quite not yeah, definitely more consistently.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Well, let me reformulate the question. Do you miss Smash 4?
Do I miss Smash 4? Um I have a different answer to that question, but I'll save it for later when you talk about Ultimates. So I'll say no, I don't really miss it because I like the fact that there are a lot more characters to play, first of all, and second of all, I like the feel of Ultimate a lot more than Smash 4. Smash 4 would be a fun game to just play every once in a while, but I don't really look back at it saying that I need this game back in my life.
Mm.
I don't see it that way. But yeah, it's fun. It's still a fun game.
Okay. So, going back in time before Ultimate came out, what were your initial thoughts and perspective towards the game prior to its release?
Of Ultimate or yeah,
Ultimate, yeah.
Ultimate, right?
Yeah.
Um Prior to its release, I was just really excited. I was one of those people to be predicting alongside my friends who the next fighter would be, and just like as well as trying to see how some of these characters would play, how these characters would place on a tier list. And I also remember, okay, I was pretty silly for doing this, but I turned on my Wii and I tried playing Pokemon Trainer on my Braille setup and see how the character would work, not realizing that the only character that's functional is Squirtle. So yeah, I was really excited because at that point I was like really a big fan of Smash Bros.
Yeah. That's cool. So, what were your thoughts on the? I mean, how? I mean, was it easy the transition from Smash 4 to Ultimate on the first few months of the game?
How was it? I feel like it was a bit weird for me since I was having a character crisis for a year and a half, about
Oof.
that long.
Yikes.
B- Yeah, I was fine with how the game felt, but I knew something was off because you know how Smash 4 is just really defensive and shield heavy, right?
Yeah.
In Ultimate, I I was doing the same thing and I was getting punished for it over and over,
Mhm.
and I didn't really know why at the time. And what didn't help is that I was playing King K. Rool for the first few months of Ultimate, so yeah, I really was playing slow. So it
Yeah.
felt a bit odd at first.
I bet. I bet it was.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on Diddy Kong in the first few months of the game?
Diddy Kong. Well, I wasn't as good at picking up on like Diddy Kong's combos since I was like, huh, he can't really get anything at a down throw, even though later on I realized, yeah, you still could. It's just people at the time, including myself, thought like down throw back air doesn't work anymore because of how fast the game is,
Mhm.
which untrue. This is a thing we never really realized until much later,
Mhm.
or how. Okay, another thing. Okay, a thing that was bad was like up B got like really nerfed, and I couldn't really recover from so far as much, and that really made me get turned off from the character because like I like doing my low recoveries with Diddy Kong, and when someone I had a bad jump habit during my time back then.
Mhm.
So whenever someone just hit me out of barrels back then, I just died every time. Nowadays, you could come back from that, like because they buffed barrels again.
Yeah.
But at that point, I wasn't feeling Diddy Kong because barrels were weird and his combo opportunities were less.
Yeah. So, but you stuck with Wario. Weirdly enough, what was that?
Yeah. Okay. So this was a decision I stuck to during the. Let me remember. This was during the beginning of 2020 or like the end of 2019. So like around the full year after release.
Hmm. Yeah.
'Cause, like so fun fact, before Wario came a slew of like several other characters like Lucina and Yoshi and Mario again, and then I also tried Link and Young Link and Pokemon Trainer. And there's also Olimar because he was also really good at that point. But a thing that stayed constant throughout the whole time was that Wario was there as a secondary, and I'm like, huh,
Hmm.
I really enjoy playing this guy. There must be a reason why he sticks. So like one time during one of my school tournaments again, um, I played Wario, and I didn't really do that well in my school tournaments before, so I didn't expect that much.
Yeah.
And then after that, I around round three, like I already won twice in my winners run. I had to fight the first seed of the bracket, Palutena player named Angie.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shoot, I might lose here. But I actually ended up winning that set 2-0. So I was like, oh, this works. And after that, I lost twice, ended up getting fourth in
Hmm.
the bracket. And yeah, that made me realize, huh, I think I should actually try this character more. And yeah, I did. But I also still was using different characters as secondaries.
Okay.
Wario felt pretty comfy.
Nice. And when was the moment of uh, realizing that Wario was the one that you should stick with for the long run?
When did I realize that? Um, Funnily enough, about that, because people consider Wario to be worse online, which I also agree with. It's just during the pandemic era, we didn't have any other way to play with other people, and uh, means like Parsec wasn't as effective, so we stuck to playing online. It was during the pandemic era that I actually realized I wanted to play more Wario because I like how his combos work and the way his air drift actually moves him around. Not to mention, I was like watching some VODs of Wario,
Hmm.
and this is like back then in early 2020, and I'm like, huh, why don't people use bike more, like the projectile? I wanted to be the one to start experimenting using bike,
Hmm.
and like uh, the during the pandemic era, I played Wario more. I started joining the online brackets via Discord, and they announced that they were going to do an online power ranking based off the tournaments we go to. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna be taking these tournaments more seriously. So I'm going to stick to my character and actually try doing more stuff with him. I remember that at first I didn't do so well. I went 2-2. Granted, second round I went up against Sifil, who was at the time way above where I was. I had like no idea what I was doing against him.
Hmm.
And then progressively, I started learning more with Wario, like how to play more evasive because I used to play so much more aggressive, but I am now infamously known actually to be like an insanely mad camper. So I learned how to do that, and not only that, but um, I started. Remember when I said I wanted to use bike more
Yeah.
because I didn't see any Warriors using it. I started using that for ledge trapping and for catching people in the air.
Yeah.
And yeah, it worked. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm surprised. This is working. I thought this was like just in theory,
Hmm.
but I was actually forming these theories and making them work, which is like a really cathartic, amazing feeling to me. And yeah, I learned these, and the more things that I learn about Wario and the game, because I was also just picking up on more things in the game itself. After playing more people, I started getting better results. From 25th became ninth, and from ninth became fourth, and fourth became second. And then they released their first online power ranking, and I ended up getting first. And yeah, that made me really motivated to actually stick to my character.
Awesome. That's quite interesting because, like you said, Wario wasn't one of the best characters online, so it was pretty.
Yeah.
It must have been pretty difficult to run into the Southeast Asian online uh, o- online brackets
Mm.
with a character like Wario with so many
Yeah.
characters like Samus and
Yeah.
obviously not Sheik.
No, yeah, not cheap. There's a lot of Samus. Also a lot of Links in
Yeah,
the Southeast Asian scene. May I speak about that for a minute?
yeah, for sure.
So about our scene, um, like our scene in the Philippines, I was known as like the best at the time. And around the second season, there's another player that like came from offline who started playing more online, and he quickly rose to becoming number one.
Hmm.
And yeah, he showed like sheer dominance throughout like our scene. You know anyone named Yoshi 95?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he is basically our goat. And he's been playing for like so many years until he like dropped the game. Anyway,
Yeah.
so Yoshi was basically my uh he became my
Bracket.
motivation to
Mm.
keep playing.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I got to get better than this guy. But I never really got to the point where I got to beat him in tournament because when he retired and when I was finally confident enough to say I could probably beat him, it was too late.
That sucks. Hopefully, when the next game comes out, he might come back. Maybe, who knows?
I'm really begging. I want him to come back. I like the way he plays. I like the way he actually sets up his bomb setups. I
Mm.
like the way he plays neutral, and he actually plays. Uh, I like the way he avoids kill conditions because it reminds me of a way that I play. Mm.
Yeah. So going back to Wario, where do you see Wario right now in the current meta?
Ooh, okay. So related to this, I just made a tier list along with my JM crew.
Hmm.
We placed Wario around top 20. He's he's still really good in my eyes. He has a lot of things that would like make or break a matchup. Like even if like a matchup is pretty sucky, let's say
Steve.
okay, I won't say the obvious ones because like Sonic Steve, whatever, right? Obviously they're like horrible. Let's say someone who's like less bad but still bad, like Cloud or Olimar. Waft could like make or break the set as well as using other tools. I feel like the more let's say Gluto or Loaf or other players start innovating Wario, the more they're actually figuring out that matchups aren't as bad,
Mm.
nor are the matchups as defining for Wario, because we see characters like Kazuya or Luigi doing super good, and their matchup spreads are quote unquote bad.
Yeah, exactly. I
And
actually,
Wario has
yeah, no,
oh sorry, go.
no,
Yeah,
no,
you go first.
no, no, continue. Sorry, I interrupt.
Oh, okay. No, no, it's okay. Uh, so when I actually think that like Wario has a better neutral and game plan than the both of those characters, since Wario could actually survive a lot better than the other two, because Kazuya's jump squat's really bad, and he's like perfect combo food for a lot of characters. Luigi's airspeed's really bad, and his recovery is just not not great at all.
Hmm.
Wario's has like Wario has really good survivability, really good disadvantage, could like live because of his weight,
Yeah.
and his air drift is just amazing. That lets him like avoid a lot of uh kill possibilities just by moving around the stage.
Hmm.
So yeah. What were you about to say? Hmm.
No, I was gonna say that for me, Wario is actually top 10 right now.
Ooh, okay, okay. I
Um,
respect the opinion.
but mostly because there are characters that most people place them in top 10, and I think that Warrior is just a little bit more consistent, even though Warrior struggles within the top 3 best characters in the game, which are obviously Steve, Sonic, Game & Watch.
Yeah. Even then, I think like okay, Steve, Sonic is like I can't really say much because that matchup is really bad, and it really is player dependent on that point. But like the Steve one, I could see like still being doable for Wario, and Game and Watch is definitely doable in my opinion.
Mm, understandable. What is your...
Wario, oh yeah, sorry,
No,
go.
no, sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry, sorry.
What
No,
were
no,
you
no,
about to say?
no, no, sorry. Continue, please.
Okay, I was just about to say I think Wario has just enough tools to like actually match out Game and Watch, and the fact that Game and Watch is really light helps him out as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the fact that out of all characters in the game, Wario actually gets out of Game & Watch's advantage. Pretty fine. It's just um what's annoying in the matchup is neutral
Yeah.
because Game & Watch's there is huge. Obby at a shield's annoying. I just have to play the the waiting game most of the time against Game & Watch.
Mm,
Hmm.
interesting. So do you think that it has been preferred over time to go for a mid-charge waft instead of a full one?
That's I love that question. The thing is, it depends on like matchups and the situation of the game. More times than not, I like burning Waft early and
Mm-hmm.
then gaining it back later. Since the more I play and the more I even practice with my with Arrows, who's basically my training partner as well as Red X, um yeah, we're realizing that like we have to play a lot more campy because uh how do I say this? It's a lot riskier to actually put our foot forward when we actually do our neutral game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could see that like Light nowadays he like laser camps and he waits for the opponent to move forward. And we have Sonics as a player who just revolves his game plan around camping, waiting, and then analyzing what the opponent does. So most of the time I like doing like mid charge buff when I can. It's just hard to actually find the opportunity when the opponent camps me back. But most of the time I would want to.
Yeah, I get it. So how useful is Warriors Up B as a kill option?
Wario's up B is a kill option. I think it depends on matchup.
Mm-hmm.
It could definitely work as a good kill option as a combo ender to some like niche ones, like an up air train to like the top platform of Battlefield. It's which could only sometimes kill. Another one is when like someone. Okay, I'm not sure if someone has watched the set. It might be in some Google Drive somewhere since the set wasn't recorded. But during our grand finals when I played against Arrows, he did a really high side B with Fox, and I just caught him with up B. That's
Mm-hmm.
another one that you could just do. But one that I really like doing against characters with like exploitable recoveries off the side
Mm-hmm.
is like let's jump the ledge with up B, and then combo the up B into a back air
Yeah.
or waft or whatever's applicable. That's a weirdly consistent option with Wario that doesn't really fail. And I would say that it's like a pretty viable kill option depending on the matchups. There are some matchups where you can't A use up B out of shield or B you can't really use the up B on the ledge thing because their recoveries are invincible. Like Game and Watch, you have to stick to like F tilting the ledge. So yeah, it's a pretty good kill option to be honest. Mhm.
Awesome. So what is Warriors' worst aerial?
Mm. Wow, that's a loaded question because all of his aerials are quite good in my opinion.
Well, what is the one that
I,
is least good?
the one that's least good. I'd be a hater if I said Nair because it because of how inconsistent it could be, but I'm not gonna I shouldn't sugarcoat or lie about it. It's still a great move on its own, even without Nair 1 and 2 both connecting. It's both Nair is like really integral to his game plan. So whoever out there is saying that Nair is his worst aerial is probably coping about it.
So you're
Second of
coping.
all, Nair. No, no, no. I don't think it's Nair. I don't think it's Nair.
Okay, cool.
I just wanted to like rule out the possibilities, right?
Okay.
Up air, definitely not. Same with fair and back air. So yeah, the only really leaves one, and it's down air. But the only reason why I say this is because you don't really see it much used in his like main neutral game plan. Because like in my the most emphasized area of like play with Wario is definitely his neutral and his advantage. And this advantage is pretty good for catching who wants to like whoever wants to like juggle you from up in the air. But there are also some times where you'd rather fair if you want a reversal.
Mm.
And another okay, but a great thing that I would say about down air is definitely in its edge guard capability and its cheese capability against some characters like Fox, where it could just kill someone in one hit if you
Yeah.
hit like the downer at the ledge,
Yeah.
like on Smashville, which is I think it's probably the only stage where it could really work on. But there are other characters who, if they don't react fast enough, could be killed off of that. But nonetheless, down air is like the aerial that has the least situations it's used in. So yeah, it's down air.
Okay.
I just knew that some other people would be like, "Oh, it's nair because it's not consistent." No, no.
Um, do you think that trying to attack while riding the bike and going up is it leaves Wario in a disadvantage more than it tries to have an effect on his game plan?
So you mean when like Wario,
That's a wheelie.
uh, he does the wheel? Ah, okay. You know, I tried experimenting with wheelie for a minute. Like, uh, it works sometimes, and there are times where it doesn't. I only do it when I know my opponent is like really antsy and they're going to jump to try like uh catching me jumping off the bike.
Mm.
But that's only very rarely. I don't do it much. I do it as like the hardest call out that I could do
Yeah.
in a certain situation. Now, like I don't really implement that in my game plan, so it's pretty fine. No, not really fine. It's very niche. There you go. That's the best word that I could like put it as, because you don't need to do that at all. You could even find a better like call out option if you want to call out like that sort of jump habit.
Yeah.
But it could work. But I'm not saying that it like doesn't work or it's unusable. I'm just saying there are better options besides doing a wheelie.
Okay. How do you find your playstyle in comparison to other top warrior mains?
Hmm. My playstyle. Well, I noticed that I was actually talking about this with Eros the other day, but um when I can, I really just commit to camping because I don't want to be the one to like to extend my hand first because I'm the type of player that likes to read someone's options while they're doing it while I like uh just evade them with my airspeed as Wario. What I
Mm-hmm.
noticed with arrows is that like uh when we watch Gluto's gameplay, there's going to be a time where he just stops camping. So he could like flesh out what or put out whatever he found out while camping. But I usually stick to camping unless there really is something that like that could be abused. Because with Wario, I feel that um there are things that I feel with Wario that can be abused more when I camp rather than when I don't. Because if I fail a certain scramble, for example, if I like for example, I fair at someone and then I try doing a cross up near
Mm-hmm.
to be aggressive, it leaves me a bit open. And I'm realizing, yeah, sure, Wario's evasive options are good out of scramble. It's just I'd rather stick to something I'm more comfortable with, which is this evading and whiff punishing.
Okay.
And Wario could definitely do both. But when I'm not able to do that, I'm perfectly fine with playing first or sticking to like a more up close game. Yeah,
Okay. So
I would say I'm more campy than not in comparison to other Wario players.
that. So what is Warrior's worst skin, and why is the green shirt with brown overalls?
You completely called me out. Yeah, I agree. Because I was wondering if I wasn't alone in this one. Because every time I talk about Wario's alts, like I say every skin is really good except the last one, which is the green one with brown overalls. Do you think the same thing? I'm wondering honestly.
I think they're most of them are pretty decent. With the exception of the green one with brown overalls.
With brown overalls. Yeah.
Although, hear me out.
Okay, I'm hearing you out. Sure.
This is a tacho take. Uh, I think the uh the second to last one is pretty overused, and
Overused.
it became pretty overrated.
Okay, that's a pretty hot tacho take. You know, you know, I'm funny how you said that because that was the one I used the most before.
Hmm.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I know that because
Oh, you actually knew.
most of warrior mates use that.
Oh, well, okay, that's fair. But nowadays, I actually like using. I rotate around all of the skins
Hmm.
except that green one or the brown one. It's it's just ugly. I don't like looking at it. It just reminds me of my game plan to just like wait and then find an opportunity to use waft because it looks stinky.
That's a bizarre way to put it.
I'm sour about that, honestly.
Um, have you played with any other character in a tournament setting since you started
Oh,
maining Wario?
okay. Um, I'm gonna go on a rant, may I? Well, it's not really
Sure,
a rant, but just like story time.
sure.
So after the first season of online, I was like playing more Wario, and this was actually the time when I was like, man, hate playing Wario online. I know it's kind of funny how I said that after the whole oh yeah, I feel great playing good with Wario, but and I could like manage playing him. But no, yeah, at this point I felt like I didn't want to play him online, not at all.
Hmm.
So I started playing random. I played a lot of characters. It went from Dark Pit to Link to Mario to Diddy Kong, and then this is like if people remember this, I'd be like happy and a bit shocked. But there's this Southeast Asian tournament called um Please Don't Lag 2, I think. It was a tournament made by Lukrunk. Not sure if you know him, but
Yeah, I know who Logran
uh
is.
yeah, it was a tournament made by Lukrunk. There was like around 56 to like 56 or so players on it. And I remember using uh 26 characters in this tournament. I
Yikes.
swapped each game I played, and I climbed this bracket up to second.
Uh,
So I was like, at that point, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm trying to have fun with the game while also trying to play my best. Because like that was also my other way of trying to improve my fundies,
mm,
which yeah, it worked to be honest, and like it also helped trying to it helped with trying to learn other matchups that I wasn't so aware of.
yeah.
Since I'm more aware of what they do, uh, if I were to pick my favorites and the characters that I still sometimes use in tourney, it would be Diddy Kong, uh, Mario, Peach, Joker, and wait, that's top tip of my tongue, Yoshi. Mm. A lot of Mario characters, which is funny, but yeah.
I love Mario characters sort of from the Mario universe and sub universe and Joker.
And yep, and Joker. You know, I love Mario, like the series. I love Mario, But I'm also a big Persona fan, as you could tell from my background.
I can tell. I can tell.
Yeah.
Um, so, who do you think are the top 10 players in Southeast Asia right now
Ooh. Like, like as a collective,
as
if
a
you
collective?
include like people who migrated as well,
Ooh, that's a good question because I mean,
because
with
like
that,
that
because
would also include Syphil, right?
that could include Sifil, but at the same time, could we include players from the states or from NA that are in Southeast Asia, like you?
Yeah, yeah. No, you is like here. He's gonna be residing in the Philippines. He goes out of the country so much
Mm-hmm.
because of how his dad works.
Yeah, but I mean, you's from Saskatchewan in Canada. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, yeah. I'd include you because he's permanently residing here now.
Okay.
Okay, I'll put it up on the list. Should I count Neo? Because Neo is now staying in Indonesia.
Ah, god damn it! That's another good one because Neo
Because he'd
is
absolutely rank one.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I've played him a couple times, which is pretty eye-opening. I'm like, whoa, I could get better. I could get better again. All right. So, top 10 Southeast Asian players. I'm probably not as aware as before because I haven't played with as many Southeast Southeast Asian players nowadays since those scenes have started to die down, including ours, over the years. So, unordered, I'd put myself, I'd put Arrows, you from uh f- all reps from the Philippines. I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to think of other countries first before proceeding.
Indonesia
Uh, Indonesia. Hmm. If I were to put one from Indonesia, I'd put Raylu, but I'm not sure if I'd put them in top 10.
Fair enough. So let's go. Let's go for
Oh,
Singapore.
and,
For
let's go to Singapore. Singapore, there's a lot of players.
there's Terrarian,
Um,
for example.
Terrarian, I'd put him in top 10. I'd put do you know someone named Rebs in top?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Greninja from Singapore. I'd put him in top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he got a lot better over the years, considering how he moved to Australia for a couple. Oh no, he's actually moved there so he could study, and yeah, he got to play with a lot of the Australian scene.
Question: how many countries do you count as Southeast Asia? Because do you count South
I count
Korea?
Hong Kong
Do you count
and
South Korea,
South
Hong Kong?
Korea. Maybe I'd count South Korea since they're not really part of any bigger region. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
would, and as well as Taiwan and Hong Kong.
So maybe let's count Bamboosler,
Yeah,
uh,
Bambuster
as Tanark,
and yeah. So
um,
we have 5 players already.
seven.
I'm gonna Oh, 7 Bambuser and Tanark.
Yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
are you counting Bamboosler and Tanark?
I'm not sure with Tanark. I
Neither
haven't
do
seen the
I.
scene in Korea recently, but I know someone in like Korea popping off recently. His name is Ashen,
Yeah.
the Joker player, and I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
him pick up a win on Natoru,
Yeah.
which is pretty
Yeah,
insane.
it is.
And with
Um,
Bamboozler, I don't know. I haven't played him, but I know someone from the Philippines who moved to Hong Kong who's played him a lot. His name is Zyke,
yeah.
the Sora.
Yeah, I know who it
He
is.
talks to us frequently about how he plays, and we're like, I want to play this guy, but he's busy. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll add Bomb Booster for the sake of it. And
Um,
for the
there's.
seventh player, I'd put Ashen since I
Okay.
have not actually played the Korean players. Mm,
Okay.
But I'll do it for the sake of adding one.
Then from do you count Taiwan?
I count Taiwan, so we're putting Shine, right? Mm. If he counts.
I was actually between Fatesh or Quote from Taiwan.
Oh, you know what? Because the thing is, Shine is more of a Kali player than
Exactly.
a Taiwanese player. I would put one of those. Probably, I actually don't know. I've not been aware of their scene for a while since I kind of uh placed myself back, and I just haven't seen VODs.
Hmm.
Yeah, one of them then. So let's put one of them. So there's 2 spots left that I wouldn't really know. If I
I
if I think
mean,
about it.
will you add someone from Malaysia?
Malaysia, like Zebra Boy.
Like Saber, oh yeah.
Hmm. If you want me to like include everybody, then I would put him. But
I
okay, this
mean,
isn't any like
this is a
this
base
isn't
of this is level of, this is a perspective on skill in Southeast Asia. If you don't want to
chill.
add someone from Malaysia, it's perfectly fine.
Okay,
Same goes for
I don't
Indonesia.
want to. This is not like shade. This is not like pure shade. Unless you think it is, then take it as is. But like, yeah, I wouldn't really put anyone from Malaysia or Indo.
Mm,
Especially people in Indo are like they stop playing Smash. I've heard
mm,
like they move on to other games or they migrated to different countries to study. And yeah,
I understand.
so
So,
two left. I,
oh,
I mean, it could
we
be
didn't
it could be
count.
cheap to put like Sefo and Maidan, right? Then that would complete the top 10.
It was pretty cheap. Um,
That's pretty much it,
we
right?
forgot
If we
Lens.
put both of them.
We forgot Linsel.
Linzel, right? All right, I would put Linzel. And
Uh,
one more.
mm, Shregarets. There's Saber from Philippines. There's Sinewave.
So I have
Um.
I've heard Soundwave retired.
Oh really?
Think,
Shit.
yeah, I haven't seen Soundwave recently. I've seen him commentate and like
Mm.
just be in the server, but I've not seen him compete.
Mm. Okay.
There's another rep from like Singapore that I would mention, but it's been a while since I played him. His name is 1004,
Yeah.
me brawler,
Yeah. Yeah.
who's been like placing really consistently. I just haven't played him in a while, and when I do, it's in elite, and we play really weird characters.
We also
So yeah,
forgot.
maybe him.
Oh shit.
If we're not include Sifo. Oh
Shit.
yeah, you think of one more?
We forgot Bean Money from South Korea.
Oh, Bean Money, like the Game and
The
Watch.
Game and Watch. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's probably it.
I think Big
For
Money
top.
is currently considered as top three in South Korea. Maybe top two.
So we're like we basically have the top three of South Korea, then the top three of the Philippines, then uh
Top top two
who-
of Singapore.
top two of Singapore, yeah, Rebs and Terrarian,
Yeah.
and then Fatej and Quote.
Mhm. I mean, you could swap Xifel and Maiden for those two,
Yeah, you
and
could switch
or
like you could
Bumbusler.
swap off with like any of them, right?
Yeah.
Like let's say it's an interchangeable list. Yeah, that's it. But I
Mhm.
think personally, the in terms of like consistency, Korea and Taiwan are probably like really up there. Same with Singapore. PH's skill ceiling, like our ceiling is really high, I think. But when you drop off from like the top 3 or 5,
Mhm.
it like drops a bit, in my
Yeah.
opinion, right? I mean, I'm not sure if other people could like agree with that, but like let's say I'm gonna call people out that could be in chat right now, Eros or Redex. If you guys agree with me, then or disagree, you can feel free to chat.
Uh, we messed up. We forgot that that
Why?
list included Neo and you.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I didn't include Neo. I
Oh,
didn't
it
include him.
didn't.
But
Oh,
you
okay,
is
cool, cool,
actually
cool.
just a permanent resident. That's why I included him.
Okay,
He's staying here. Hmm.
okay. Now here, Arrows agree with your take, so don't worry.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I
Uh,
think if the scene consisted with people like around their skill level, then it would definitely be up there. It's just SG practices a lot more than us. Like Singapore practices a lot more, and Taiwan and Korea collectively are just better than us.
mm, interesting. So,
Hmm.
what is the current rule set in the Philippines, and do you think Southeast Asia will ever agree to a unionized rule set like Europe?
Hmm. Okay. In terms of like stages and like timer,
In terms of
uh,
stages, timer, character first or player first, gentlemen's,
ah,
DSRs, things like that.
DSR is most of the time on.
Mm,
There are going to be some tournaments where it's off. I don't know when that really happens, but sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off. Most of the time it's on, sorry. Um, Timer is usually just 7 minutes restock, the usual.
Of
But
course.
for stages, um, we have basically the same as the NA rule set, which is Battlefield, PS2, Smashville, Town, and what am I missing? FD for the starters. And
Mm.
then for the counterpicks, we have Small Battlefield, Hollow Bastion, Kalos. Am I
Mm.
missing any? No, that's
No.
yes, it's just those three.
Mm-hmm.
And then interestingly enough, other scenes in Southeast Asia have different rule sets. I swear I've seen one of them with like Yoshi's, which I was kind of shocked by. I'm like, oh, you guys still run Yoshi's? And I heard from Rebs. Well, Australia is just a different continent, but they play on Lilat, which
Yeah.
also like shocked me. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, okay. Do I think they should have a unified rule set? Hmm. I'll say it's better if I mean it would be really nice if we had a unified rule set. It's just um I could see why we don't have one since it's not every day that someone from like different let's say the big tournaments in Singapore that amasses around 90 plus players. Not many people from other countries really go. Like from the Philippines, for example, I was G to go. The problem was feasibility, and I'm really just a student, so I don't know how I'm going to put in the money to go there, as well as Eros. He also wanted to go, and Red X.
Mm.
You was the only one from the Philippines who wanted to go. It would be really nice if we had a unified rule set, right? But it's not that all of us are going to be able to go out to different countries to play with each other and play in tournaments because a lot of us are really young. Um, uh, so yeah, I could see why there isn't a unified rule set since our countries are so far
Mm-hmm.
apart, quote unquote.
No, I mean I understand it completely. I mean I'm from South America, and a lot of scenes has still Lilat on and Yoshi's on,
Yeah.
or Castle Siege. Uh,
Castle Siege is
ca-
still on nowadays or something?
no,
I
Castle.
had no idea.
It's not that it's
Mm.
on. It's more so that it is in Uruguay. Castle Siege is a gentleman stage.
Oh, okay. I completely forgot about Gentlemen's. Okay, I did not know that that was a thing. But in our rule set, we could gentleman any legal stage, and that's really the only rule there with Gentlemen's.
Mm-hmm.
If we'd want to, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Thoughts
Most of the time
on
it's PS2.
ugh, PS2 sucks, but okay. Um,
The usual.
thoughts on character first.
Mm. Character first would be really nice. I'll be real. Because in our country and in a lot of the countries in Singapore, we do stage first because that's what that's what the game really gives us, and we probably don't think about it much. But it would be really nice since we'd know whether or not we're gonna get counterpicked to a certain character, Kazuya. You know, because like a lot of people have their pocket Kazuya, or they have a pocket Steve. Or actually, okay, no one really has a pocket Steve here. The pocket Kazuya is more infamous.
Yeah, of course.
Or one of our top players switches to Min Min, and we're like, okay. I I would really prefer character first, so we could just avoid the BS that could happen. And like we don't really have to play the mind games of okay, I'm gonna pick this stage. So I have to predict that the player is going to switch to a different character that would counterpick my stage pick. It's just really annoying in my opinion.
It is. I really bet it is. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know about the unionized Ruleset in Europe. Have you ever checked it out?
Uh, Not specifically, but like, do you mind telling me more?
I'm just sending the rule set right now on Discord.
Sure. Let me check it out. So, go in. Sorry, my eyesight's a bit bad. Um, okay.
S-
RPS ban. Oh wait, you pick that character first, then ban.
Character first, stages. And in terms of
Okay.
if there are starters or counter picks, that's non-existent. The 9 stages are the starters.
Oh, all these 9 stages are starters.
Yeah,
Wow.
there are no
Okay.
counter
Include,
picks.
and this also includes Yoshi's.
Yeah, it
All
includes
right.
Yoshi's. It includes Yoshi's.
This is different. Okay.
So the thing is
Would I
that
prefer having all 9 stages?
so the thing
Oh yeah,
is,
sorry, go. Huh?
uh, the rock paper scissors first, of course. The winner bans 3 stages. The loser bans 4 stages, and the winner of the rock paper scissors picks from the 2 stages that are left. And from the second game onwards, the winner of that game bans 3 stages.
Oh. 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 Hmm. I think I think this rule set's really deliberate. I mean, you know what they plan to achieve when they make this rule set. It's so that you could really make a very systemized way of banning.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I was a bit shocked at first when I saw all 9 stages being available, but when you said that you ban first and you ban four and then two,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, okay, you know what? That makes a lot more sense to be honest.
All
Because like
three,
imagine
just
being
2 bands in
given the
9 stages.
exactly. You just two bans. You're gonna let's say me. I would ban Yoshi's and FD, right? And then we have all the other 7 stages that are out there with differing properties. And okay, I guess I'll die. But no, this is actually pretty nice to be honest.
Yeah,
I like this.
and also no DSR.
No DSR.
No DSR.
I can see why DSR gets annoying.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
ask the TO sometimes, hey, is there DSR? They're like, yes. And I'm like, frick, I wanted to go back.
um, are you happy about how the Ultimates roster ended, or would have liked someone else added?
Okay. I personally would have want someone else like to be added, but that's just a me thing. I don't even know if people like um also want this. I just wanted uh Paper Mario because I'm a huge fan of their series. I love that series. That's probably going to be me though, because yeah, everyone they added was pretty deserved. And I'm thinking, yeah, this looks like a perfect roster.
Everyone
That's
wa-
just my personal gripes.
everyone was pretty deserved. Also looking at Crom and Min Min on the screen.
Hey, to be fair, people thought that Chrom was going to be in Smash 4 since he was more of a prevalent character than some of the others in his game.
Fair
Min
enough.
Min, I think they should have added her in the base game.
Yeah,
Adding her as a DLC made the hype a lot less mellow.
exactly.
I mean, a lot more mellow. Sorry, a lot more mellow.
Hmm.
But everyone else is like in their DLC form. Maybe excluding Byleth, I would have wanted Byleth to be a lot earlier because hype was killed with Byleth. I like Byleth. I like Three Houses. It's just I didn't like that the Fighters Pass ended with Byleth.
Mm.
Yeah, everyone is pretty deserved. Just yeah, I like I like everyone in the game.
Okay. I mean,
How about you? What do you think?
um, I'm happy that Hero and Sephiroth are in the game. Hero
Oh,
was
hell
my
yeah.
pick since Brawl. Um, and I cried when he appeared in the game of happiness, and then
Okay, I can see you.
I cried out of anger when Banjo Kazooie came into the game because that game sucks. Um,
Nostalgia bait.
no, there is no nostalgia bait. I played Banjo Kazooie 3 times in my life. Once when I was like a kid, another time when I was an adolescent, and then when I was in college. And the 3 times I thought, man, this game sucks ass.
Really, even when you're like a kid and you could have been like enthralled by the magic of Banjo and
I couldn't
Kazooie.
care less. The story sucks and the mechanics were awful. And in my adolescence, where I was like, man, this game sucks and the mechanics are awful. And when I became an adult, I was like, man, this game still sucks. And the
And the mechanics are awful.
mechanics are awful,
You know,
and the story is shit, and the music is just god horrendous.
the music, I see a lot of people would be fighting you on, but I'm one to respect an opinion. I'm not gonna say anything.
Though
I
it's
think it
okay
was
if you
a
don't.
fun,
It's okay if you don't.
jolly experience.
It's okay if you don't respect it. I know I have shitty takes, and that's perfectly fine.
I don't think takes could be shitty, but I think they could
Oh
definitely
no,
cause flames.
takes could be shitty. You haven't seen the takes that I have on things that are video games and music and food and Smash. I think Marth is
I
bottom
wonder
tier
if you're going to be. You think actually? No, no. Arrows in chat. He's definitely gonna spit something about Marth. You know, Arrows Fox main, but you know who he wanted to play? He wanted to play Marth, but he gave up on Marth.
because that character sucks ass, and literally
Yeah, no,
any
okay.
sword fighter is better than Marth, and any
I
character
I will
with
not
decent
disagree.
disjointed is better than Marth.
Look, I think Marth is bottom 15 or like bottom like 20-ish, right?
Bottom
He's bad
five,
in my opinion.
bottom
Bottom 5?
five.
Wait, so do you think like
I think
Lee
Marth
Sword
is.
Fighter
I think that
Plant?
yes. I think that Marth is worse than Plant, and worse than Little Mac, and worse than King K. Rool. Maybe
You are
and as
you're
bad as
cooking.
Ganondorf and Dr. Mario.
Wow. I've never heard of this sort of take before. This is Eros, do you agree? I know you're in chat. Do you
Yeah, Eros agree,
agree? He agrees. No, you're crazy.
and Redex agrees.
Red, come on, Redex. Exan, you are lying to yourself. I know your ZSS cloud in mind. I know it. You know what? No, I think I'd want to be chill with a guy like you. Talking about like really hot opinions really makes me
I don't
feel.
think Roy is top 20.
Oh no, that one I agree with. I agree with actually.
Maybe not
I
even
think
top
he's like,
30.
yeah, no, I see it. I see that one definitely. I think Roy is overrated and gets really uh punished bad by the fact that he has no projectiles. Mm,
Yeah.
because his game
Uh,
plan is very linear. Mm.
I think Yoshi is top 10.
Mm, thank you. He's top 15. I was debating whether or not he'd be top 10 in my opinion. With my like with the arrows and a few of my other friends, I'm like, ah man, Yoshi is top 10 materials.
I mean, let's just look at the facts. In Japan, there's Fui, Ron, and Yoshidora, and mainly Yoshidora is
Yeah,
possibly one of Akola's bracket demons.
yeah. Exactly. He has good matchups against pretty much all of the the top five except Sonic.
Mm, yeah.
That one could be better. He has a really stupid advantage state. His disadvantage is also really good because of his double jump.
Mm-hmm.
His neutral is really annoying because of his air drift.
Yeah.
All of his moves are safe for some reason. I don't get why. And I
Terry.
played Yoshi for a really long time.
Yeah. Terry is better than Kazuya.
Better than Kazi. I agree. I agree with that one too. I
Yikes.
think Kazuya is like really overrated as well.
I mean, I don't. I personally don't think that it's overrated, but I think Terry is much easier to pick and is easier to win with.
I think okay, I think so too. It's just I think Kazuya's weaknesses are very glaring. I've seen uh sets where if the Kazuya just doesn't get a hit, they're the ones getting dogged on. Like 3 stock, 2 stock,
Yeah,
right? Let's
exactly.
say from Tweak versus Riddles, or I've seen like streamers do really well against like Kazuya. I won't say because
Hmm.
like that might get you banned, but yeah.
I think that Paramithra is not top 15.
Ooh, that one's a hot take because
Yeah,
okay, why do you think so?
I can think of 15 better characters than Paramithra.
That
and
Okay, you know what?
Pyramithra's
Yeah, who's the worst
disadvantage can be
character who's
pretty.
next to Pyramithra?
Uh, sorry?
Oh, so no. What were you saying first before
No,
I ask you?
I think that Pyramithra can get in a really horrible disadvantage, has a pretty exploitable recovery, and any character with great combo tools can defeat Pyramithra pretty easily.
I could, I agree with like those things, except if you're Mithra on disadvantage. When you're
Mm,
Pyro though, you can definitely get juggled like a lot, like really bad.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you thinks. I haven't talked to him in a bit, but about like where Pyramithra is in the tier list. But yeah, I was about to say who's the worst character who's like better than Pyramithra and like in this 15 characters, who's the worst? Who's 15th? Hmm.
Mm, maybe Samus
Okay. I'm no, I'm
or
actually happy to hear that you think Samus is top 15. That character is dumb.
maybe Shulk.
Oh, Shulk. All right.
Because I
I want to
mean,
see more Shulk like
Shulk is
performance.
15th. Shulk is 15th for
Hmm.
me because he will be
Mm-hmm.
higher if he had results.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, I can see it.
but he cannot go lower than 15th because how broken that character is.
Do you think Pikachu's top 15?
In theory, but not in practice. It's like in top 20.
Okay. Yeah, I could see. It's like that's the feeling I have for Shulk.
Mm,
Since I feel like his neutral tools are a bit too laggy for my taste. And without jump his disad is like sucky.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Okay,
Um.
wait, what were we talking about again? I forgot.
Oh yeah, we were talking about characters in Smash, like potential
Uh-huh.
characters. So Hero and Sephiroth appeared in the game, so I was pretty stoked with that. But
Oh yeah.
after that, my picks for Smash, in terms of Nintendo characters, I wanted Porky from Earthbound. I'm actually
Ooh, Porky.
surprised he wasn't in the game because I mean every boss fight that appeared in the previous games appear as boss fights again or as characters.
Yeah, I thought he would be a
So
boss too.
so it's kind of weird, but at the same time, if you really think about it, Mother 3 is a pretty controversial game for Nintendo to still think about. So it kind of makes
He would,
sense.
oh my gosh. Do you know about the announcement that they're going to port Mother 3 in the Japanese Switch?
Yeah, of course I know. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, that makes sense. I mean, I'm a Mother 3 fan. Mother 3 is one of my favorite games of all time, but honestly, it is hard for me to try to defend the game, to try it for
Yeah.
Nintendo to put Mother 3 in NA or south of Japan. It will be a legal mess that I and honestly, the game has some scenes and has some storylines that hasn't aged at all. Aged like milk put in the sun after 3 days. Aged like that.
Fucking
I don't know if you ever played Mother 3,
No,
but
I've seen some things about Mother 3, and my brother, who also used to compete in Smash, his name is Starwax.
mm,
He played Lucas for for the same reason you did, because he loves Mother 3. But he's also resigned to the fact that it's never going to get localized in any way,
no,
shape, or form.
no. I mean, for context, for people that don't know, Mother 3, I mean, Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings had some music references from the outside world, like for example Queen or the Beatles, and things like that. But with Mother 3, it's just plagiarism. Like there are battle scenes or background music that is literally just plagiarized, and it was never um, reference like used as a reference for by Nintendo. So in terms of the music, is they just cannot localize it because they will have a legal battle for copyright issues. And
That,
then
may I ask though?
yeah, sorry.
Oh, what was like? Where was the music that they used based from? Or not bass. What did they use?
For example,
I forgot.
they use a lot of songs from the Beatles, like Yellow Submarine and many others.
Wait, there's no way. Actual songs
Yeah, actual
from the
songs.
Beatles?
Yeah, actual songs from
No,
the Beatles
that's
and from Queen as
no
well.
wonder. That's messed up. Damn.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah. There is no chance they can fight a legal battle for it. And not even in like background music, like even like songs in battle, for example, like music notes and things like that.
Right.
So
Wow.
it's basically impossible to try to edit the game from scratch in order to localize it. It's just it wouldn't make sense. And
Mm-mm.
in terms of story and things like that, it is a little bit too dark
Yeah, I
for
I
people
agree
to
with that
play,
one. Mm-mm.
and
Well,
there are scenes that is just pretty messed up to people to to people to play. I played it when I was like,
it's really hard to find like that audience in Nintendo. Like
yeah,
even like with despite the legal issues, Nintendo would look at that and be like, "Who is gonna play this?" Besides the hardcore fans. Well, I
exactly.
would,
I
but
mean,
not
I would
everyone.
again, but I much rather for Nintendo. I personally, as shitty as it makes me feel, I will just I wouldn't do it. I will advise Nintendo to not publish Mario 3 and localize it. It wouldn't make sense at all. I will
Yeah.
just rather emulate it, as shitty as it sounds.
You think there's any chance they're gonna continue that series?
No, the creator of the game confirmed it. Like he said that after Mario 3, he won't make any games related to the Earthbound franchise.
Oh, oh shit!
He
I had
confirmed
no
it
idea.
decades
Mm-mm.
ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, no
and
wonder. I actually never knew about that.
yeah, he confirmed it. Like he said that no, there's no way I will ever continue the saga of Earthbound.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm.
Um. Okay, let's get back on track. What are the other characters besides the one, besides Porky, that you'd want to be added to Smash?
So here's the thing. I wanted a World of Warcraft character in the game.
Whoa. Okay, that
Yeah,
would be a
exactly. Whoa.
hella great crossover.
Yeah, exactly. Whoa, World of Warcraft.
Mm.
Sorry, it's a pun. It's a shitty pun. Um,
Oh, World of Warcraft.
whoa, World of
Oh,
Warcraft.
okay, yeah, World of War. Okay. I don't know how I didn't get that the first time.
Yeah, sorry, it's okay. But I think that World of Warcraft is one of those games that impacted the video game franchise as a whole, out inside and outside, and it's pretty weird that it wasn't referenced in Smash. But at the same
Yeah,
time, it would be pretty weird to actually implement a character in Smash of World of Warcraft. So, who knows?
I'm wondering how the character would function.
Exactly.
Anyway, yeah, continue.
And then it's pretty weird out. It's pretty weird to me that there wasn't a third character from the Street Fighter franchise. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
Ken and Ryu, they're pretty iconic, but they play similarly. And with that,
yeah, they play too similarly.
I thought that either Chun Li or Blanca will appear in Smash
I
at
would have
one point.
wanted another one because, like, right now okay, I haven't played the game. Like, I'm trying not to play the game because I don't want to spend $60 on another game. But
Fair
I
enough.
really want to play Street Fighter. I would've- I've been curious because the game looks so fun, and Eros loves the game as well.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
but
yeah, another Street Fighter rep would have been really high.
yeah, it would. And finally, I'm still surprised that uh, they didn't add as a new The Legend of Zelda character.
That one I'm upset by because like I love Zelda.
Yeah, me
Like I
too.
really love Zelda.
Yeah, me too.
I like how many like cool characters there are, and I'm like, oh yeah, I wonder if this character would be in Smash. They're not.
Nope. They added Young
We
Link, and
haven't had a
they added Young Link. They edited some things from Link and Zelda. They edited some things from Ganondorf, and they were like, "Well, this is it."
dude. We had no new Zelda characters since Brawl.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
miserable.
It is,
Mm.
but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I would have been happy with an Echo Fighter of Sheik with Impa,
Impa. Yeah. Okay.
or
That makes
an Echo Fighter of Ganondorf with Demise, you know. But at the same
demise. Shit.
at,
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm like, man, I'm happy that they're they're not Breath of the Wild characters because the Guardian sucks ass.
Oh yeah. Having the Guardian in the game would be really, really odd.
I mean, I'm talking about. I don't know if it is Guardians in English. Now that I think about it, but I'm talking about Rivali, Mifa,
Oh, the
Urbosa, and
champions.
the champions
Okay.
exactly. I think here's the thing,
I wonder
chat.
how they would play though.
I hate Breath of the
Mhm.
Wild. I think that
Really?
game
Oh
sucks
man, we
ass.
have another spicy take.
I think that game, like if you played it on 2017, 2018, and you said it is the best Zelda game, I mean, yeah, because you played it on this hype. But I played it on 2023 for the first time, and let me tell you, it was shit. It was bad because the story is pretty much non-existent of how boring as shit it is. Zelda has no impact, like at all. It is a pretty horrible written character. Same goes for Link. Link has no. I mean, you can say that it's a guard of the Hyrule Kingdom and things like that, and therefore it has no emotions. Yeah, but you made Skyward Sword prior to Breath of the Wild, that a game where Link had every freaking emotion. It basically looked like Donkey Kong or King K. Rool from those series where it has every
To
single
your
emotion
point
possible.
there.
So it's
I did
pretty
play Skyward Sword prior to Breath of the Wild.
so it's pretty rough when you have a game where Link is has a lot of emotions to a game where Link,
Okay.
the only emotion that seems to have is when he eats,
Okay, wait.
but not in the
So
story.
I could see why with these points, but do you think the gameplay is bad?
Yes,
Whew!
because
Another hot take.
I mean, it's not that it's bad. It's just that I mean, if I wanted to play a Souls game, I will play a Souls game.
This is messed up.
I mean, it's just,
I mean,
I mean, Breath of the
you don't
Wild,
like
Tears of
the
the
bullet
Kingdom are
time?
Souls-like games.
I mean, they are pretty much Souls-like games, and it's like, uh, mechanics.
Yeah,
I mean,
and gameplay.
I do like the new components of gameplay they added to Breath of the Wild
I
and
mean,
Tears of the Kingdom,
it
like
is
bullet
not
time
it
and
is
like
not bad.
their runes,
It is
right?
not bad, but at the same time,
But
if I
you'd rather
wanted to
play a
play it
different game that
Souls-like,
does
I
it
will play
better.
a Souls-like and not a Zelda game.
Yeah, okay, I could see that, because like I've heard complaints that like it's they wouldn't that people don't really like those games because it doesn't feel like a Zelda game.
It's not a Zelda game. It's a Souls-like.
It's just so okay, fair. I respectfully disagree.
Okay,
Firstly, secondly, I love those games.
fair enough.
Well, I do think
I'm
it's
not
not
sit
my
here
favorite.
and say
It's
that
not my
there's.
favorite.
I'm not gonna sit here and say
Actually, wait.
that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are the worst Zelda games because I mean, Force Wars exists and Triforce Hero exists.
Yeah, no, they're kind of just campaign games. So,
But
but I think, I think they were. I think Breath of the Wild was a good attempt at Nintendo trying to do something new in that sort of formula that's been popular for throughout the years, the Soulsborne formula, and they made it better with Tears of the Kingdom. I think, in my opinion,
I
and I
mean,
like
yes and no because I
and I
mean
appreciate the fact that they added voice acting for once in a Nintendo game. We don't get that ever.
I mean, the thing for me for Tears of the Kingdom, yes, it is a better version of Breath of the Wild in terms of that the story is better, the character progression, the character development is better. The gameplay is still there, the difficulty is still shit. But cookie. Sorry. I mean, I'm talking with my wife.
Oh no, it's cool.
So, but my issues with Tears of the Kingdom, uh, I mean, aside from the horrible way that they implemented the difficulty with both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where the boss fights are easy as fuck, and then you have
Okay,
a
yeah.
Lionel that you cannot
Mhm.
defeat in more than 5 minutes because yes, that's a mechanic that exists.
Lionel.
Um,
Early game Lionel. Oh,
yeah,
that's so funny.
yeah. So aside from that, I think the issue with Tears of the Kingdom for me is that I couldn't care less about the Sky Islands or the
The Sky
underground.
Islands, or even in the underground. I
The
mean,
un-
they kind of force you to go there at some point.
yeah, exactly. It's boring as shit and kind of tedious.
Be- I'll be fair. Yeah, okay. The latter you said, it is tedious to go in the underground, but I do think it's like a really aesthetically, it's really cool, really interesting. I really like the vibes, and I think exploring the area actually makes me feel scared. I like that. I like it when a
Sure.
game actually makes me feel these sorts of things.
I mean, sure,
I do agree
but
though that it's hard to fucking tread around just like walking in gloom when you actually don't have a way to go about it without doing that.
sure, but
And then my life bar gets eaten up. Yeah, that's harsh, but I still like it.
I mean, sure, but you could have this approach in a dungeon much more with much more appeal, you know, instead of just going to the dark and going with lights that you can put randomly throughout the land, you know. And in terms, and
Or,
let's not get into a conversation about the Sky Islands because that's
no,
just
no.
a
The thing is,
no,
I kind of agree with you in the Sky Islands because there's not really much to do. Mm,
no, it's empty as fuck.
yeah. But I mean, I
Um,
think the concept is cool. It's just an
no,
execution. It wasn't the best.
no, it wasn't.
And more times than not, I'm on the mainland.
Yep, exactly. That's
Hmm.
that's that's, that's also the unfortunate point. And one thing that I hated about both Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is the treasures, the treasure chests and things like that.
Treasures.
Because for me, it
Oh.
felt kind of boring, like finding
Hmm.
treasure and things like that. It felt like easy, you know, like
Hmm.
with no point, you know. It's like, oh, cool, find a treasure, yay.
Okay. You know what? Let's get to a more positive note. What's your favorite Zelda game, if I could ask?
What's my favorite Zelda game, or what Zelda game do I think is the best? Because those are two completely different
Um.
answers.
Oh, okay. Favorite. Okay, that's a more fun one to me.
My favorite Zelda game is Skyward Sword.
Okay, I like that answer because when I uh that's one of my favorites too, top two, right? Because when I hear people talk about Skyward Sword, people complain a lot, but I really like how it looks. I
I
like how Link
mean,
looks. I like how Zelda looks. I like how they interact.
yeah. I mean, I have my
And
complaints with Skyward Sword, of course. I'm not an idiot.
right.
I mean, I
Right.
love the game because it means a lot to me. As a matter of fact, if people look at the stream, there's Tubert, a third-year character from Skyward Sword that means a lot to me. Weirdly enough, and
Oh.
I cannot explain you why. But at the same time, Skyward Sword has a lot of issues. It has issues with gameplay, it has issues with bosses, it has issues
Yeah,
with characters. But at the same time, it is an amazing experience for sure.
I
And
agree.
in terms of the best solo game, it's a tie between Majora's Mask and A Link Between Worlds.
Those are in my top five favorites. Majora's Mask, it's an experience like no other, to be honest. Like in a Zelda game, the amount of like tension and fear you get from actually treading the world around you, how the world just feels so glum. And
Mm-hmm.
there's also the fact I like the system that they have with like the time resets. It actually makes me have to micromanage a lot of the side quests
Yeah,
or a lot of the main quests. And like, okay, no, this is fun. I really like it.
has
And
a lot of
the dungeons
replayability.
were like the only complaint about like Majora's Mask is what is it? Hmm. It's just one thing. I didn't like Great Bay. Mm,
Yeah, but
the temple.
yeah, I know it's valid.
But
And
like, hey, I get rewarded with probably one of the best areas in Zelda
mm-hmm,
after that.
yeah,
Mm,
yeah, fair enough.
mm,
And then I have a Link to the Past. A Link Between Worlds, sorry, tied with Majora's Mask because I
with
feel like it
Majora's Mask.
has a better story, it has one of the best stories,
Mm,
has one of the best character progressions, has one of the best
yeah,
plot twists in Zelda history. It
yeah, I can see that too
has one of the
with
best
Valpio.
bosses. Something like that. It's just an amazing game, an amazing experience, and it sucks that it hasn't been ported to the Switch yet.
I'm a bit shocked since the 3DS is just, well, it already killed itself over the years
Mm,
because Nintendo shut it down. But yeah, I agree as well. It's one of my first Zelda games actually, A Link Between Worlds, and yeah, I really enjoyed the experience. It's a really solid one,
yeah, it
and
is.
it's probably my favorite, and what I also think is the best 2D Zelda. Hmm. By all means, 2D, right?
Mm, for me,
Uh,
I mean,
oh yeah, go.
for me, best 2D Zelda will be Minish Cap because it means
Minish
the
Cap. Oh
more
yeah.
to me in terms of 2D. But the best 3D Zelda is possibly A Link Between Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
For me, top five of 2D Zelda games, like based on what I like, is Minish Cap, followed by
Minish Cap.
Link Between Worlds, then Link's
Link
Awakening,
Between Worlds. Yeah. Link's Awakening.
then A Link to the Past, and finally Phantom Hourglass.
Whoa! Oh, bro, you're like the first one out of like a lot of Zelda fans I talked to who have brought up Phantom Hourglass. Besides my
Phan-
brother, of course, but
Phantom
I
Hourglass is
like that
pretty
game.
goated.
That's. Do you know that my first game was Phantom Hourglass for like Legend of Zelda?
Interesting.
Like, people usually talk about Spirit Tracks more, but I think Phantom Hourglass was just a more memorable experience to me. I'll be frank, and it was easier to move around the map.
I think yeah, the issue with Spirit Tracks is that it has possibly one of the worst experiences of traveling through Hyrule
Yeah,
with the train.
I agree. It
It's
is
just
a really
trash.
annoying and slow.
I
It's a
mean,
lot of waiting.
Byron is one of my favorite characters in the Zelda franchise for sure. But
Mm,
nevertheless, Spirit Tracks has a lot of freaking issues, even more than Phantom Hourglass. Phantom Hourglass
I-
has a dungeon that you need to enter more than 3 times for sure. But at the same time, after the second time,
yeah,
if you couldn't pass the third time, it's just skill issue at the end of the day.
yeah, I agree. But you enter more times in Spirit Tracks, first of all, and but in return, I do get one of my favorite Zeldas in Spirit Tracks,
Mm,
since you
valid.
actually get to talk with her the whole time.
Sure. But at the same time, the Zelda from Spirit Tracks is decent. It's not the best.
Decent.
It's just it exists.
I just
It's
like the
good
fact
that
that
it
she actually
exists.
is with you and that she helps you. But
Sure,
in terms of character development, there isn't much, right?
exactly.
Not at
That's
all.
the issue. In terms of in comparison to other Zelda, like Skyward Sword and Wind Waker, technically, and mm, and technically Echoes of Wisdom if you really think about it.
Yeah, I
I
want to
haven't
play
played.
Echoes of Wisdom. It
I
looks
haven't
really
played it
fun.
yet though.
Okay, okay. You know what? Hold on. I realize we have tangented way far off the main interview. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I sometimes do this. Don't worry. I sometimes have my rants as well. So
All right, all right.
do you feel happy about? How do you feel about? Sorry. How is the level of the competitive scene in the Philippines in comparison to other communities in Southeast Asia?
Oh, well, I was talking about this earlier, right? I'm not okay. Don't get me wrong. I I think the Philippines isn't as competitive as it was before,
Mm-hmm.
or as competitively driven. Because I think the top four or five, right? They're all like hyped up to play the game. Like me, Eros, you, and Red X. And then there's one more who's like good. He's good, but I'm not sure if he's all fired up as us. His name's Hashibobo. We're all
Mm-hmm.
really I mean, we all enjoy playing the game and we all want to get better, except maybe Hashibo. I don't know, right? But the rest of us kind of just play for the community, which
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. It's like I love the vibe of our community. It's very chill, very relaxing, and it's very inviting to new players since we're all just like we're all chill and it's not so competitive in our country, you know.
Yeah.
But it honestly saddens me a bit since I want to reach a point again where I want to feel like I really want to get better. There's a hurdle that I have to surpass. Like what I mentioned with Yoshi 95 before.
Yeah.
I don't really have that as much here. I just play for the sake of playing and to meet my friends, of course. But it's it's a bit somber thinking that it isn't as it was before, or uh, there isn't really a hurdle for me to jump over in this country. Other countries definitely have more of a competitive scene than us, like Singapore, namely Singapore, like in Korea, Taiwan. There are other countries that uh, aren't really making as many tournaments or any tournaments at all nowadays. But um, yeah, I kind of want that competitive spirit back,
Mm-hmm.
or I want people to be climbing that sort of hierarchy or I want people to be like really grinding their asses off to get up, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, people aren't really as pumped up for the game. However, I do have to say this. Obviously, to any of the PH watchers, I respect that like there are other things that you'd want to do, like study or maybe delve in, delve more into your other hobbies or other passions that you have to get into. I completely respect that because honestly, that's great. That's an amazing thing. Some people don't even have those to get into, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, y'all do your own thing. It's just my personal feelings that I want this scene to be more driven again. I want there to be people actually catching up because for me, the feeling feels like the top five and then there's everyone else. It's us fighting each other over and over again. So it gets a bit demotivating or a bit boring. But nonetheless, I still like playing for the sake of being with my friends.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Mhm.
So we've been talking a lot with Lacrimosa. Now I want to talk with Jules for a little bit. So tell us, what do you
Mm.
like to do besides playing video games?
Besides playing video games, well, okay, yeah, well, because like in the video games department, we already know. We talked about a bunch of things about video games. Well, besides that, well, if you look at the background, I have a lot of art pieces, not made by me. I got these all from the artist alleys of different conventions.
Mm-hmm.
I love drawing as like a side hobby. I
Mm-hmm.
don't do it all the time. I'm usually cooped up with like a lot of schoolwork, but when I can, I draw because it's really fun, honestly. I'm not really pushing it to become something bigger, but it's just a fun time. Besides drawing, I'm really into watching different sorts of media, like TV shows, cartoons, anime, any sort of media I'm getting into. I like getting into. I really wish I wanted to get more into. No, I really wish I knew more paths to like different music, but I just never knew where to begin. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
sure, I've started already. It's just I'm not as um pumped or pushed to listen to music, especially when I'm stressed. I sometimes reel back to watch a show instead
Mm-hmm.
because like I love consuming those sorts of visual media.
Understandable.
What else do I do? Um, well, okay, I haven't been doing it recently, but when I could, I go to the gym just so I could like release some stress and to like obviously make myself feel a lot more healthy. But again, nowadays I'm more swamped up with work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can I talk about my school life for
Yeah,
a
of
minute?
course. Yeah, where are you studying?
Oh, where specifically? Could I reveal that? I mean,
I
I'm open
mean,
to.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, well, my question was more so, what are you storing? What are you?
What am I studying?
Yeah.
Okay, so right now I'm a second year in BS Economics because I really want to, well, eventually get into like a master's uh in business and like
Hmm.
in that field.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly I would want to do yet, but I know it's around that field. I want to uh incorporate ideas into that.
Hmm.
And what else do I like? I mean, I love going out. Honestly, they're like just doing random stuff with friends or my girlfriend. I just love doing them, whether it's like going to the arcade or shopping or just eating out. Yeah, I love going out, touching grass. If you do, if you, I don't say.
Okay.
Um, what else do I like? When I go to the gym, usually I like doing boxing. I like that specific sport. I like watching combat sport. I'm a very casual watcher though, so I'm not like really well versed into games and like legacies. But I like
Hmm.
watching it for sure.
Cool. Okay, so this is the last section of the interview. If there's people watching that would like to ask any questions to Lacrimosa, this is your last chance. In the meantime, I will
Like
proceed with
it's
In the meantime, I will proceed with the lightning round questions. Here's the moment where not necessarily you have to answer these questions as fast as you can, but nevertheless, there was a specific stage of the interview where I could throw these random questions at you. So, Lacrimosa, are you ready?
all right. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Sure. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, cool. Well, first question: what is your character demon? This means a character that you hate fighting, even if the matchup is favorable for Wario.
Even though it's favorable for me, or just in general, my demon.
In general, your demon.
Okay. Two characters. I fucking hate Steve, and I hate Shulk because my motherfucking brother mains Shulk, and he always pulls him out when he's against me. He swaps into shield art every time I try to get a combo off him, so I really just have to do straight hits against Shulk. I fucking hate Shulk. Did I mention I hate Shulk?
So Shulk will be your character demon.
Yes, even though I don't think the matchup's that bad.
Okay.
It's not even
Uh,
bad. It's pretty even. Yeah.
is there any place you will go out to eat after a Filipino tournament?
Ooh, okay. That really depends on the location, but no, most of the time we go to this place called UP Town Center, which is basically like a mall or like uh for us, and we kind of just go with whatever we feel like. Most of the time it's Japanese cuisine.
Valid. What's specifically which specifically
Restaurant?
which Japanese food?
Oh, food. What's uh typically like let's say a rice meal, like a
Mm.
tonkatsu
Oof.
or curry. Man, I'm hungry again, even though I ate just a few hours ago.
Yeah, I understand. I was actually like, please don't say ramen, please don't say ramen, please don't say.
Oh, dude, ramen is my favorite food. That's my
God
favorite.
damn it. I mean,
I fucking love it.
I mean, I talked about this yesterday with Bones, who was the person I interviewed yesterday. It's not that I
Yeah.
hate ramen. It's just that I will never seek out to buy ramen.
Oh, completely understandable. I mean, I know how heavy it is and how like it makes you just feel very sluggish after. But
No, no, it's more so that my wife makes
yeah.
a better ramen than one that I will seek out in a
Ooh,
restaurant.
ooh. Honestly, no, I respect that, dude.
And
For me,
more
yeah,
often than not,
continue.
restaurants that serve ramen have things that I hate or make.
Mm.
For example, I hate hard-boiled egg on ramen, and
Oh no,
and
yeah.
if I want
Mm.
them to take it out, they charge me extra. So it's like,
They charge you
shit.
extra for it?
Yeah, sometimes
No way.
it happens. It's the same things happen with pizza here. Like if you want your
No,
pizza without olives, they charge you
without a
extra.
certain topping. Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Usually we could like ask up front and be like, okay, yeah, can you remove this? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. And they do it without. It's most of the time when we have ramen, you charge extra it's charged extra if you want the egg. Usually it's without,
Mm, yeah. No, here
which is what you
is
prefer.
in here is with the egg, and I think hard-boiled egg with ramen is just the worst combination ever.
You don't like it.
Because
What
if
don't you
it
like about it
because
actually?
if it because if it breaks inside the ramen and you have the pieces of egg whites or with the ins or the what is it called,
The yolk?
the yolk, the bits of yolk inside the broth is just the most disgusting feeling in your mouth. I don't know.
Really? Like,
It
I
looks
kind of
like
like it.
bits of it looks like bits of like snot, and inside your mouth it feels like something chewy that it is also watery, and it's just gross.
I try not to. Okay, with the hard boil. Okay, wait, no, no, sorry, I'm getting off topic. If you want to like eat the hard boiled egg, I sometimes just cut it in half and then eat it whole. But that's me, right?
No, of course. I mean, and my wife doesn't make it with hard-boiled egg on ramen because I mean she's allergic to eggs. So
Oh, okay, yeah, no, that just makes sense.
I mean that's the thing. But yeah, I mean in my opinion, I think that ramen is just better homemade than in a restaurant. Yeah.
Understandable. All right, okay, let's continue with the lightning round. We got off track again.
No, it's perfectly fine. And in terms of the other Japanese thing, that it happens the same thing with ramen is sushi.
Yeah, sushi. No, nah, I get you with sushi. I
Because
love sushi. But like, oh yeah, you go. Sorry.
no, sorry, it's just that it's not something I seek out because in Buenos Aires, Argentina, there are not many places that have good quality sushi. So for me, it's
Hmm.
just like it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
And sorry,
It's about to
you
say
were
the same
gonna
thing.
say
No, I was about to say the same thing. You really have to get like a specific place to get good sushi because all the
exactly.
time it's more cheaply made.
And also, this is a tacho take. I just think that kimbap is way better than sushi.
You think what is
Kimbap is South Korean sushi.
kimbap?
Uh,
Kimbap.
K
Oh,
I
that.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I've seen it. I've eaten it. I actually don't know since I've only eaten so much kimbap, so I can't really say for sure. I've eaten way more sushi in my lifetime.
Mm.
But it's good. I agree.
I
So I
mean,
can't blame you for any of this yet.
the for the people that are wondering, kimbap is just mostly their protein is cooked in terms
Right.
of instead
Yeah.
of
Mhm.
instead of being raw, or
Instead of raw.
they use things like kanikama, or they use pork, or they use meat, things like that.
Right.
Um, and yeah, in terms of and question, ¿sabes hablar en español?
Okay. Ironically enough, I don't know how to speak it. But you know how our country got taken over by the Spanish?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
And my sister knows a bit of Spanish because she had to learn. Uh, but most Filipinos, okay, I'm not sure if I really know this, but like we haven't really picked it up like
Mm,
as a full-on language.
yeah, but
We have like many dialects that could like that have taken more inspiration from you guys, or
yeah.
from like rather Spanish rather. Um, but it's not usually spoken.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it is weird that you said you guys because that the Spanish
Yeah,
that
yeah,
people are
I know it's sad.
the Spanish from the I mean the Spanish that you're talking about is the Spanish from Spain, not the
Yeah,
Spanish from
that's from
Latin
Spain.
America.
Sorry,
No, it's okay. It's
I
fine.
do appreciate that you actually know that, since it's a really important piece of our history
No, I
that
mean,
happened. I mean, there are more times than not in the last, let's say, century where we were taken over than when we were actually by ourselves, which is really
exactly.
funny and sad.
It is pretty strange for sure, but Yeah, I know
Yeah.
it. I know it because I've seen it in a lot of TV series, and because
Mm,
in school at least they teach us that the Spanish colonialism were much bigger outside of South America than just in
yeah.
Latin America for sure. And a weird
Mm.
country that the Spanish colonialism appeared was Philippines for a strange reason, you know. And I was like, huh, let me check out a little bit more about their history, and yeah.
Well, yeah, it's because like one guy who was dispatched from like,
Mhm.
or he was like, there's one guy named Magellan who was, he's Portuguese, but he got dispatched by the Spanish because uh the king or the leader in Portugal didn't really let him, so he
Mhm.
went to Spain and asked him to get like spices and stuff from the Philippines. But he started like implanting his own like beliefs and culture onto them.
Mhm.
And then one of our men, Lapu Lapu, killed him in a duel because yeah, he proposed a duel. And then much later, people from Spain started pushing their men out onto our country because of that, and for other reasons, for
For
well,
sure.
colonizing.
Yeah.
Mm.
And wait,
And there you go,
now
bit
now
of
that
history.
now that I think about it, how difficult is to learn Tagalog?
Tagalog. If I'm going to be honest, it's pretty easy.
Mhm.
It's just it's way easier if you spoke it as your first language because I know for sure it isn't my first language. I mean, you could tell from okay, there's this thing where some Filipinos make fun of like others' accents, like my own, when they
Mhm.
speak English. Because I sound really fluent in English, and that's really because it's my first language, and I really have to pick up Tagalog um along the way,
Mhm.
piecing things together
Yeah.
from like what my parents say, or what my brother says to me, or what my ate says to me, or sorry, my sister, ate is sister in Tagalog.
Mm. Understandable.
It's pretty easy. I'll be real. It's just um a lot of practice and a lot of use and like uh actual conversation helps.
For sure.
I don't really speak it much conversationally, but I definitely know how to speak it. And I know some words. The hardest part about Tagalog is learning so many deeper words because conversationally you only use so many words. And actually, a lot of people code switch. They use both Tagalog and English.
Mm. Interesting.
Like they
Um.
combine some Filipino sorry, wait.
Yeah.
Were
Sorry.
you gonna say
You.
something?
No. You say something,
Okay.
please.
So they combine like some sort of like grammatical thing when like in Tagalog to an English word. If they don't know what the word means in Tagalog, or if it sounds nicer in English, we use it in English.
Yeah. I mean, I know what Taglish is.
Exactly. It's
Be-
Taglish. There's
because
oh yeah,
in Latin America there's this term called Spanglish that is basically the same thing.
Spanglish. Okay. So you guys
The
basically have that.
combination of a word in Spanish and English, or the combination of a phrase where you use things in Spanish and in English.
Mm-hmm.
So
All
yeah,
right.
there's actually a pretty decent movie of Adam Sandler about that specific thing called Spanglish.
Oh, it's also a movie just called Spanglish.
Yeah, it is.
Sick.
So it is a pretty it is pretty bizarre. Because, yeah, I know what Taglish is because I mean it exists in almost every country that it has a lot of English verse
Yeah, a
or
lot of English roots.
yeah.
Mhm.
Do you listen to music while playing Smash, like competing?
Okay. Before I used to, but like sometimes I realize it makes me tunnel vision, and
Mm.
it makes it hard for me to think. Now I actually don't really, I don't even use headphones or anything to protect my ears from the crowd. I kind
Mm.
of absorb it.
Mm.
I'm that type of player, and I rather l- would like to I think of things bare than with headphones or with anything because I feel that's a distraction to me.
No,
Mm.
you know what is a distraction for me? The sound of the
What
game.
is this sound of the game? Really?
Yeah, yeah. I often either listen to music or listen to a podcast, mid or
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
or I use noise canceling headphones.
Headphones. Yeah. No, I could understand that.
Yeah,
I know that you from our country, you from the Philippines, uses listens to both podcasts and music as well, depending on how intense the set is.
yeah. What is your favorite video game outside of Smash?
My
If it is
favorite video
Smash,
game is Super Paper Mario from the Wii.
valid
Uh,
option, you know.
have you played that game?
No, I haven't played any Paper Mario game.
Understandable. I mean, it's hard to play the first three. Well, you could play Thousand Year Door now. Hey guys, whoever is watching the stream, you should play the remake of the Thousand Year Door. That's a goated game. I give it my seal of approval. Anyway, yeah, that's Paper Mario is my favorite franchise, and Super Paper Mario is my favorite game. Is it the
Interesting.
best one in the franchise? Heck no, but it's my favorite. Mm.
The best one is Color Splash.
Uh, you know, thank God I know you haven't played a Paper Mario game.
Hmm? But no, I personally, the one that I'm more inclined to play, weirdly enough, is Origami
Yeah.
King.
No, okay. Here's my hot take. Hey guys, I don't know if there are any Paper Mario fans or hardcore Paper Mario fans out there, but I think Origami King is a really good game.
Yeah.
Unironically, it's a great game. I like the soundtrack's amazing. The aesthetic is beautiful. The story's pretty good actually, and I don't mind the combat, even if it's like quote unquote pointless. I don't think it's pointless, but like you could play the game without buying any of the power ups, but it's it would definitely help the experience if you buy them. If it would make fights easier. If people were complaining that the boss fights were too hard, you could buy the power ups to make it easier. If they don't like grinding, then just get coins in the overworld because there's a lot. I love the game. Honestly, it's great.
Hmm.
I recommend it.
What is your hottest Smash take?
Ooh, my hottest Smash stick. I think Luigi is probably going to become top 15 soon.
I think he already is.
Really? You know what? Shake on that, bro. I
I've
think
been thinking that
Luigi's
since the
stupid.
beginning of the year. You know.
Oh, you know what? No, I can't blame. I always thought Luigi was great. I play. I'm not sure if you remember, but ever since Smash 4, I was playing Luigi.
Yeah.
I've never played him in Tournament and Ultimate because I thought I'd feel filthy, but he's absolutely one of my best.
Yeah.
He has one of the most disgusting advantage states, one of the most gross disadvantage breaking tools with his down B, and Nair. And he's weirdly good at zoning, so he doesn't need to approach so much.
Mhm.
It's just the recovery, which honestly, if you get lucky, which is funny, if you get lucky with Luigi, the recovery doesn't matter so much.
Mhm. Yeah.
And another problem with that is like some Luigi players play a bit too aggressively, in my opinion. When I see Raru play, and he sticks to the corner against characters who could zone him out, I'm like, oh man, he's actually playing Luigi the way I'd want to play him,
Yeah. No,
because he
my.
doesn't need to like interact so much,
Mhm.
considering how good his zoning tools are.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, my hottest Smash takes are not even technically based on meta. It's mostly because I think that some characters are more hyped than others, and some characters are not that hype.
Ooh, hype or lame? Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's hear. I want to hear how hot your take is before I say any of mine. I'm not even sure if any of mine would be like hot.
I
So
think
can I hear one of your examples?
I give you one better. This is my latest Smash hype tier list. It's not
Oh,
there. There are some things that have changed over time for sure. But at the same time, this is just bizarre. To even like, most people think that this is copium or they think that this is bait, but no, actually this is the way I think, with some few exceptions that have changed over time.
okay. Let me take a look. Whoa. Okay, wait. This is watching, or is it playing
Watching,
against?
watching.
Watching. Okay. Let me look at this. Oh, I have another hot take.
Yeah,
Before I look at this, I think
sure.
Bayonetta's top 10.
Top
Spicy in it.
top 15 for
Sp-
sure, but weirdly enough, not yet top 10
That's my opinion. I
for
think she
sure.
has the freest corner game in the entire out of the entire roster. She could get out of the corner whenever she wants to.
Yeah, for sure.
And and I think if you play her neutral like good enough, she's probably going to have the most oppressive neutrals since it's going to be hard where it's going to be hard to tell where she's going to be attacking from. And I'm going to also say that like her top representation is probably one of the strongest because she has three who are all probably in the top 40 somewhere. That's if Bloom Forever doesn't play random, right?
Hmm.
Because recently he has been. Okay, I'm gonna look at your hype tier list now. Let's see. Rob, I can see in the watching sense because um zero to death characters are usually portrayed as quote unquote hype in the watching mindset. But then again, I also see Kazuya in mostly sleeper. As this is weird. Yeah, I could agree with a lot of these takes to be honest. Hmm. I'm not hype, still happy to watch the set. Hype or sleeper depends on who. Yo, what's your opinion on Sonic? Who do you think is hype and who do you think is lame?
I think that Sonic's is hype, top 5 hypest
Yeah,
characters to watch, and
hell yeah,
I think
hell
that
yeah.
Ken and Wrath are pretty lame to watch.
Think I'd rather watch Ken than Wrath. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know because I haven't watched. No, never mind. There's a chance that Ken would actually not pick Sonic and actually swap to Sephiroth instead. So
No.
that's why I would rather watch Ken.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Let's keep looking. I could agree. I could see the reasons why. I don't. I'm. I'm. Wait a minute. Why do you think Isabel is hypest?
Oh my god. I think the gameplay of Isabel is top notch. It's possibly one of those mid low tier characters that are the hypest to watch. And their
You think?
the
You
combo
think
potential
which?
is amazing. The advantage is great. The combos of fishing rod are amazing.
Okay. You know what? I can't say anything because I don't watch Isabel
Fair
at
enough.
all. I nor do I even see Isabel in top 64 of the majors most
No,
of the time.
really.
I
There's
haven't.
there's
Wait, what scene should I like focus on actually? Japan, maybe?
to watch Isabel.
Yeah, to watch Isabel.
Spain.
Spain has
Um,
Isabel.
yeah,
Oh,
there's Jubinia.
Albania. Okay.
Then well, of course the states. Um, there's also
States has a few, yeah.
there's Mexico with Nitty.
Ah,
Um,
it's been a while since I've heard of that player.
yeah, there's. Let me check for sure, just in case. Podcast special. No,
Wait,
sorry. You're saying?
no. I wanted to point out because if Eros is still watching, my guy put Brawler in hype or sleeper, and I feel like that's so funny because I just think Brawler is lame in general
Going back
because of
to
how his game plan works.
Isabel. There's also Mercurio from Mexico, and then you can check the overall scene in Europe with both Jubinia and Jaka and Shaxo. Those three,
Oh, I
or
know
Cap.
Jaka. Okay.
Right now, the best Isabel could be even Jubinia and not Jaka, even though Jaka got top 8 at a technical major.
Mm, okay.
Also, the one of the things that I will change about that tier list, I will put Min Min a little bit higher, a couple of tiers higher.
Is it because of Doramigi?
Is it because of? It's because more so of Rimu and Chag.
Rimu. All right, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I watched the sets that he played in Washington, and I gotta say, yeah, he is really impressive. Chag, I don't see him picking Min Min as often. I know he does have a Min Min secondary though.
No, he's actually been picking Min Min more than Palu as of date.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. Thanks.
As a
Hmm.
matter of fact, in the last in the it was I think it was called Tantalus, the C tier from Austria. Chag was
Oh.
big. Chag only picked Palu in one or two sets, and he was second at that tournament. So
Oh. Oh.
yeah,
It's pretty shocking.
yeah.
Mm. Okay. Okay, I don't really have that many complaints, and I could like see why with a lot of these. Not anything I could like rave about.
Wait, what do you think about
Mm.
Falcon, Roy, and Young Link in the bottom of the tier list?
Roy, I disagree with. Young Link, yeah, and Falcon, yeah, as well, right? I think Falcon is like overrated as heck to watch because
It
a lot
is.
of the Falcons end up spamming up B, and I'm like, ha, he's doing it again. It's funny.
Hit the thing.
He did it. And it's like a lot of the routes are like really samey with Falcon too. So it's like, okay, when they're not gonna up B, they're gonna fish for an air. Or like, oh, they're gonna wrap their boost if someone disengages. It's kind of the same,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, I get it.
And with Roy, I thing is, I don't know that many. Okay, no, I do watch Alice, but like Cola, I find really impressive to watch. He's the guy I like to root for, especially in the meta he has to play in, the characters that he has to play against that are definitely better than Roy. But why do you think he's like probably the most sleeper here?
It's like egg with no salt. It,
Oh, you think he's
it's
like white bread?
it's white bread, yes.
Dang, that's harsh. That is really harsh on Roy.
Like
I do think
like
his
the
combo game is like really simple.
cheapest brand of white bread possible.
Cheapest brand of white bread.
Yeah.
I think if the people know how to actually play against Roy's kill options, I think I enjoy how Roy players find their kills, like with their sour spots
I mean,
mix-ups. I
it's
appreciate that.
I think that Roy is just tedious to watch. I don't know. Like most Roys I watch end up going for the for the craziest yet least comfortable options to go for. For example, I watched Alice run recently at Old Core, and it was just why some of the options I was seeing some of the options. I was like, why are you doing this? It doesn't make sense. And it was more so frustrating to watch than anything else, to be honest.
All right, all right.
And
I get that.
and with Cola, it's always the freaking same, to be honest.
Really
I
okay.
think he goes for the I think Cola is the is that type of player that goes for the same option at least 5 times until he realizes that it's just not working, or at least it works the sixth, seventh time, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, it works. It worked the seventh time he tried to go for it. Great. I don't know. It's just boring.
Agreed to disagree then.
Yeah, fair enough. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mm.
okay. So last question of the interview: who would you like to nominate so Hishi could come in a future interview?
Who do I nominate to come in a future interview?
Yeah.
All right. I've been already saying his name. I know Eros is already going to be in an interview since he won that poll. So I nominate Red X to be in a future interview.
I actually need to talk with Redx as well, as he is also in the top 7 because one of the players that I need to interview dropped out of the race.
Oh shoot. Okay, never mind. Do I can I interview well rather can I shout someone else out then?
Yeah, of course.
Hmm. I shout out you,
Oh,
like the player you.
yeah, the player you. Yeah, no. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So here's where the podcast is coming to an end. Thank you so much to Lacrimosa. If the public wants to look up your social media, where they could find you.
Uh, okay, thanks for having me. Now, time to plug. You could find me at Wawa Lacrimosa at Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. You could also find me on Instagram if you want to follow me there. And yeah, that's really all I have to show. I thank you for having me here. I'm really grateful.
Awesome. For the people watching, don't forget to follow me on Twitch so you cannot miss the chance of watching any other interview that I will make in the future or any content that I will make in the future. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can watch these interviews in the future once again. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll be seeing you next week in another interview, the game, and goodbye.